When Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6 Remastered were announced last year, I was instantly filled with joy because it meant I would get to play more of my favorite video games in beautifully remastered versions. But then the dread set in when I realized that this also meant that I would have to endure 3 more painful Platinum Trophy hunts. If you have watched my past Tomb Raider trophy videos, you know how much I suffered getting those Platinum trophies. In a fun way, of course. Kinda. But to my surprise, everything seemed to be a lot easier in the last revelation. Judging by the list of trophies for the game, I figured that I would need 2 full playthroughs to get the Platinum trophy. For my first playthrough, I wanted to focus on collecting all of the game's secrets and a majority of the miscellaneous trophies. So with great excitement, I embarked on my Platinum journey, greatly anticipating the remastered beauty of Encore. What is up with Fun Cry's remastered face? Anyway, for the What's Up Dog trophy, I had to quote-unquote lie down beside my predecessor. This supposed predecessor, of course, was a certain skeleton with a whip and a hat next to it, but Lara can't lie down, so I did the math, and sure enough. I basically began my Platinum trophy journey by killing Lara, and I really wished that I'd remembered to save my game first. It's a good thing that Lara found her legendary backpack in this level, because where else would she put all the pickups that were needed for the Bury It With Me trophy? I now wonder where she put the items she picked up before finding the backpack. Upon collecting the final Gold Skull secret in Angkor Wat, I earned my first secret-related trophy. Finding all those Gold Skulls also unlocked the so-called Path of the Heretical, which I needed to speedrun for another trophy. This took me quite a few attempts, I'm not gonna lie. I had to cut corners like a madman and keep the sprint button pressed as much as possible to make it to the iris in such short time. Fun Cry then exposed himself as a big-time hypocrite when the careless buffoon did exactly what he just spent a level preaching against and got himself into trouble. I got a trophy here for having completed the Cambodia chapter. Fast forward 15 years to the Tomb of Set in Egypt, where Lara needed to put Fun Cry's teachings to good use and carefully disarm a blade trap for a trophy. Usually, I would just let her guide Ahmed take care of that, but this trophy put him out of a job basically. I did need him to kill 3 scorpions and 3 jackals with his torch for a different trophy, however. In burial chambers, I came across some beautiful Egyptian vases for the first time, which reminded me that I needed to remember to break all vessels in the game for a truly despicable trophy. I also needed to be on the lookout for certain great statues, as a trophy required me to do handstands in front of them. Lara then accidentally released the God of Chaos from his tomb, inflicted Armageddon on the world, and got betrayed. For the purpose of unlocking the wonderfully titled Croft Tomb Racing trophy, I had to stay ahead in the Jeep race. I figured I had to postpone this trophy to my New Game Plus playthrough, however, as I needed to prioritize finding secrets instead. Aw, they missed an opportunity to call the trophy for completing the Valley of the Kings chapter Valley of the Dings. In the Temple of Karnak, there was a trophy for completing most of the level while poisoned, but I decided to save that for New Game Plus as well, as I, you guessed it, needed to stay focused on collecting secrets. Also, I couldn't allow myself to waste medipacks here due to a certain trophy coming up. I did unlock the Gotcha trophy, however, when I used Lara's guns to kill a red assassin without a single deflected bullet. In Tomb of Semaket, I had to lose at Senate to be able to collect all secrets in the level. Stupid, yes, but that's how the level's designed. I did manage to roll the best possible move in Senate, however, which earned me a trophy. Next, I needed to kill the Ice Wraith without help from the Fire Wraith and without taking damage, which required me to make it follow Lara all the way back to the shallow pools in the level. In the Guardian of Semirkhet level, I had a pretty tricky trophy challenge on my hands, as I needed to make the Guardian break through the door and crush all 3 eye panels within 50 seconds. And upon locating the final secret in Karnak, I unlocked the Codex of Karnak trophy. This secret contains 3 delicious pickups, but Lara is only allowed to take one of them, as the other 2 will be lit on fire as soon as she's made her choice. For the This Is Fine trophy, however, Lara needed to collect all 3 pickups and finish the level while burning. The only way to do that is to continuously feed her medipacks all the way to the exit. Whoever the douchebag that came up with this bullshit trophy challenge is deserves to do this in real life. I also got the Blade Outrunner trophy here for not having been hurt by any of the sneaky pedestal blades in the level. Finally, I also got the Take Me to Von Croy trophy at the end of the cutscene for having completed the Karnak levels, but boy did Desert Railroad get off to a bad start. In Alexandria, I met up with Laura's bestie, Jean-Yves, to learn about Horus's armor. I would get to spend lots of time with this dude on this playthrough, as I needed to continuously return to him to get hidden clues for a trophy. I got the first one when I revisited him after collecting all pickups in Alexandria. I then went and explored the amusing tourist/death trap that is Egyptian Adventure and got a trophy as a souvenir. I then got my hands on the crossbow and used it to clear all targets in the shooting gallery, the hard way, for another trophy. After completing Egyptian Adventure, I returned to Jean-Yves for my second hidden clue. I then moved on to the coastal ruins and used my laser sight equipped crossbow to decapitate a skeleton mid-jump. And speaking of decapitating skeletons, in Temple of Poseidon, I made sure to explore the East Wing last, as that would spawn a wraith that I needed to follow Lara for a trophy. Basically, I needed it to follow her to the end of the level where 2 more wraiths were waiting, so all 3 of them could die at the hands of the same winged statue. Before moving on to the Lost Library, I headed back to Jean-Yves again to get my third hidden clue. In the Lost Library, I had to rely on some good old corner bugging in the room with the giant lion heads to unlock the Rely on Yourself trophy, hahaha. The perhaps stupidest trophy yet was the Cooler Than Henry trophy that tasked me with blinding, poisoning, and then one-shotting the 3 assassins in Hall of Demetrius. This was easier said than done, however, as I just couldn't get it to work. Turned out that I was only allowed to shoot with 1 of Lara's guns, so I had to angle her awkwardly for each kill. The trophy description does say that, to be fair, but why? I then chased after Von Croy and collected his broken glasses in the process. Before moving on to Pharaoh's Temple of Isis, I headed back to Lara's faithful friend one final time.
Tread carefully now.
In the final 2 levels of the marathon that is the Alexandria chapter, the skeleton abuse resumed as I needed to drown 5 of them. In other words, I needed to use my shotgun to knock them off their ass and into water 5 times. Once I discovered the final secret of this chapter, I got the Codex of Alexandria trophy. For the Double Trouble trophy, I had to protect the golden Lara statue from enemy attacks while making my ascent out of the room. This required a good balance of making progress and keeping half an eye on the statue at all times. The trophy didn't unlock, however, even though I could have sworn I nailed it. After a couple more attempts without luck, I regretfully moved on to the 2 bosses that guarded the final armor pieces. I had to kill this twisted pair without taking damage, and with pistols only. I wish I could tell you that I was a total badass here and took them on courageously, but most of the time I did this. Then the Double Trouble trophy randomly popped when I completed the level, so thankfully it wasn't bugged. And once Lara arrived in Cairo, I got my trophy for having completed the Alexandria chapter. In City of the Dead, I had to use the bike to reach a secret before tuning it, meaning that I had to cross this pit without the ability to use boost. Damn, Lara died so much here, she turned into OG Lara. This jump was pretty difficult to pull off, as it not just required full speed, but also a healthy dose of luck. I then found the secret nearby and got my trophy. I love when trophies make you explore games differently than you normally would, as I didn't even know it was possible to reach this secret prematurely. For the Security Breach trophy, I had to destroy all 7 turrets in Cairo, and 4 of them were here in City of the Dead. I carefully took out the 2 rooftop turrets from down on the street, as I would need to keep the helicopter intact for a different trophy. In the same level, I had to release the ice wraiths without releasing the locusts for a trophy, which I did by shooting an explosive bolt directly into the outside wall. Lara was unfazed. In Chambers of Tulun, I lured some scarabs to my bike and got the awesomely titled Scarabicide trophy. In Citadel Gate, I had to kill 2 of the Doomsday crocodiles inside their own lair for a pretty scary trophy. I mean, just look at this. What kind of lunatic would willingly throw themselves directly into a tight space with 2 crocodiles, just for the hell of it?
Crikey!
By the way, can I just say how much more enjoyable The Last Revelation and its multitude of crawl spaces have become now that we have all these badass crawl space maneuvers. They were simply fantastic for avoiding the hazardous steam in trenches, which earned me a trophy. And speaking of trenches, this was where the remaining 3 turrets were located, so I got the security breach trophy upon destroying the 3rd one. And once Sergeant Assis had sacrificed himself to help Lara gain access to the Citadel, I finally got the minimal damage trophy for not having blown up the helicopter earlier. I then found the Cairo chapter's final secret right at the end of the Citadel level and got a trophy. And after a creepy conversation with Sed via Von Croy's possessed body, I got the Barking Mad trophy for having completed the Cairo chapter. My first order of business in the Giza chapter was to pick up a certain medipack in Sphinx Complex before an assassin could come and steal it. Once I made it underneath the Sphinx, I had to imprison both guardians for the Ollie Oxenfree trophy. I then took a good look at the clues nearby, but deliberately ignored their advice, as I needed to go into the horrendous maze of blades anyway. For the IAQ trophy, I needed to get to the end of the maze, flip the switch, and leave it again undamaged. In the Room of Ra, I had to make every beetle follow Lara so they would fall into the chasm for another trophy. I had to jump across it twice, however, before it worked. Once I had revealed all of the level's button combinations with Lara's binoculars, I finally unlocked the chapter-spanning Hypatia Would Be Proud trophy, which I had worked on since the Lost Library, through Citadel Gate, until this level. I had hoped I could have gotten the trophy for saving all soldiers on this playthrough, but since one of them carried a pickup that I needed, I had to turn a blind eye to the giant scorpion butchering him. I had to save a different soldier, however, as I wouldn't be given a key that I needed for a secret if I didn't. When I finally came across 3 giant scorpions at the same time, it was time to unleash some serious destruction. I got the Scorpion King trophy when I killed all 3 of them with the same grenade. And speaking of multi-kills, I had been on the lookout for a good place to get the trophy that required me to kill 5 enemies with 1 super grenade for most of the game, but it wasn't until I reached the halfway point in Mastabas that I found the perfect spot. For the Suri Commando trophy, I went through all of Lara's weapons to break gems, so once I got to the crossbow, I got the trophy. In the Monkey Room of Mastabas, I had to pull the lever on each statue for the 3 Wise Monkeys trophy. In Khufu's Queen's Pyramids, I found the perfect place to try and achieve the Blowing Off Some Steam trophy. So I equipped Lara's shotgun with wide shot ammo and gave it a shot. I also got the Oops trophy here for having found and broken all vessels in the game. Thank God. If I had missed one somewhere at some point in my playthrough, I would have broken that many objects in real life. Well, my controller for sure. Inside the Great Pyramid, I found the final secret I needed to unlock the Codex of Giza trophy. In the Temple of Horrors, I needed to release the creepy monster behind bars in the Scales puzzle area so I could kill it for a trophy. Ugh, remastered or not, that's one ugly motherfucker. This monster comes after Lara if she screws up the puzzle, so that's what I did. On purpose, of course, so I could kill it with a revolver. It was then time for the final showdown, but before dressing Horus up in his armor, I made sure to do a handstand before him. But I didn't get the Theomachus trophy. I had done these handstands in front of as many statues as I possibly could find, but I had clearly missed one somewhere. Ugh. Lara then gave Horus a makeover for the ages, only for Set to show up and try and end the world. What a dick! Before escaping Set, I quickly needed to collect the remaining few pickups to unlock the Bury It With Me trophy. I was half expecting another tomb cleaner debacle here, but thankfully I was spared the mental breakdown that would have caused. I then hurried out of the cave, re-imprisoned Set, and saved the world. It was then time to try and save Lara as well. For the Set timer trophy, I had to make it out of the pyramid in less than 40 seconds from the moment I trapped Set, which was pretty hard to do. I eventually succeeded and got my trophy, and at the end of the heartbreaking final cutscene, I got another one for having completed the last revelation. New Game Plus was looming on the horizon, but first I had to play the Times exclusive. And not just for the sake of procrastination, as it had 2 trophies I needed. First I got the Codex of Tutankhamun trophy for finding all secrets in the level, and then I got the Time to Finish What Carter Started trophy upon completing it. Alright, there was no more delaying the inevitable. It was time for me to play the game on its hardest mode. Surprisingly, however, and thankfully, the Last Revelation Remastered doesn't have a pistols only trophy, nor a speedrun trophy. For the previous games, I had combined those trophies with my New Game Plus playthrough, but if the game didn't tempt me to make bad choices like that again, I sure as hell wasn't going to. So I began my New Game Plus playthrough, and already in Angkor Wat I got struck with bad news. You see, apparently only the Path of the Heretical is available on this mode, so I couldn't get the trophy I needed for speedrunning the Route of the Virtuous. It wasn't all bad, however, as the giant head on the Path of the Heretical turned out to be the last statue I needed to do a handstand in front of. Once I made it to Egypt, I became very worried about how brutal this mode was going to be, judging by how dangerous even jackals were in it. It's too late, you idiot! At least Ahmed didn't attack Lara on New Game Plus, unlike the monks and prisoners in Tomb Raider 2 and 3. Yeah, piss off! But anyway, I had some trophies I needed to get on this playthrough. First, I had to stay ahead of Ahmed in the G-Brace, and how hard could that be? I basically needed to stay ahead and let him ram me from behind, and I mean that in the most family-friendly way possible. Whenever he overtook me, however, he would always dump a grenade, and those are no fun on New Game Plus, but I eventually got the trophy. I then did the Get Over There challenge in Karnak for another one, and in Tomb of Samarkand, I got one for winning Senate. I got the Circuit Safe trophy at the end of Khufu's Queen's Pyramids. Surprisingly, this trophy was easier to get on this playthrough since the soldiers didn't need to be saved due to their unholy alliance with the giant scorpions. This of course also meant that they attacked Lara, so you win some, you lose some. I don't think I was meant to get it, however, as the trophy icon shows 4 soldiers and I only saved 3. I failed the one soldier that still needed to be rescued. I'm not one to complain about the blessing of a positive trophy bug, however, if that's what happened here. New Game Plus had one final nasty surprise in store for me before I could go get some well-earned rest. You see, on this mode, you actually need to fight Set. Thankfully, I still had some explosive bolts left, but I didn't exactly predict that I would have to kill a frickin' god at the end of my playthrough. I eventually did it and completed New Game Plus to unlock the Welcome to Duat trophy. I still needed to speedrun the Route of the Virtuous before I could hoist that Platinum trophy above my head, however. So I loaded up Angkor Wat one final time. Another classic Tomb Raider Platinum trophy had been added to my collection. It was rough, but it was all worth it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.